Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game 3rd edition battle report. Today for you we have a Bat Family team going up against Soldiers of Fortune. It's not 350 rep though. To make the theme of this one count, which is roughly based on the Arkham games, particularly the latter two, but the Arkham games in general, it's roughly 385 rep. I think one team is 383 and the other one is 387. So as close as you can get with the miniatures being used. So a little bit higher than the default usual rep value being played, but still otherwise all entirely official in terms of setup for the Bat Family and Soldiers of Fortune, objective card, decks, and so on. So because we're doing this themed around the Arkham games, are these random Joker related bits of scenery on the table actually there, or is that just a symptom of Batman's mad clown disease? We don't know, but let's take a look at the teams. So here is our Bat Family team being led by Arkham Knight Batman, the very expensive Batman, 150 rep. I think that makes him the second most expensive Batman after the 80th anniversary one. We also have Dick Grayson, the Arkham Knight Nightwing. Then we have an old miniature. This is the Tim Drake Robin that came out in 1st edition or early 2nd edition, such that his card is one of those really old-fashioned massive ones. So it might mean he's overcosted, it might mean he's undercosted, who knows. He's got the usual stat line for a Robin. He's got a bow staff that has combo on it but only does one stun. So he might not be that great. I like the model. We'll talk more about that model in the next Getting Stuff Painted, because I did also edit it a little bit. For whatever reason they modelled him with 2 bow staffs, which is dumb, so I fixed it. And then we also have Arkham City Catwoman, who is part of the Bat Family team. So Bat Family also all get Boy Wonder, so they're immune to Sharp, so no rerolls on strength dice against them. And that's about it. Although I will mention very briefly, I mentioned on Twitter as well, you can actually find, they claim to have permission from Night Models, but I'm not sure I believe that. You can find a card printing company who has done a bunch of 2nd edition miniatures in 3rd edition format, and it makes it so much easier to use old miniatures in new format in the 3rd edition. For instance, there is the Arkham Knight Batman card, which obviously Knight has not officially updated because I think he's Eternal now, so he's not being updated to 3rd edition, but it's done in 3rd edition style and it has all the relevant rules on the back as well. And case in point, there's one for Nightwing as well. Now the only problem is they don't go far enough back. I think it's all like no 1st edition, so for instance there isn't an updated version for that Robin. If somehow the person who's making those cards hears this, go back further, do the older miniatures. It's so handy to be able to play them with ease having a 3rd edition-ized card. But anyway, I've rambled too long, let's look at the Soldiers of Fortune. So it's a very old school militia team for Soldiers of Fortune. Prior to Bane and militia joining together to form Soldiers of Fortune, they were separate, and these were pretty much your only options for leader and sidekick if you did take a militia team. So it's being led by Arkham Knight. Scarecrow, who is normally a leader, becomes a sidekick if you take Arkham Knight as your leader. They have Free Agent, the Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and then just to fill out the points they have the Merc Medic and then also the Lieutenant, and they too also have updated 3rd edition cards. Now it is also worth mentioning they were not in the Soldiers of Fortune card release, which boggles the mind. But Night Models has actually released objective cards for these two that you can include in your objective decks. And they're very thematic around the games, they're very good, but they weren't included in the physical release, so unless you're willing to print out the entire deck and use that instead, you can't use them, because you'd know where they are compared to the actual printed ones. If you printed your own, I mean. So sadly, Arkham Knight and Scarecrow's cards will not being used here, but just letting it be known in case, like, I only recently became aware that they existed thanks to Tabletop Simulator of all things. So they are available, but you would have to print out the entire deck. But just letting it be known, they do exist, they're not in this deck. Anywho, we're going to set up and be back at deployment. So here we are at deployment. The Bat Family has deployed on the right and did get first activation by winning the Take the Lead. However, because they're a man down, 4 models versus 5, they're actually going to use a pass, so it will be the Soldiers of Fortune going first, who are deployed on the left. There is no objective cards being played in Phase 1 or Phase 2 of this turn. Obviously all the Bat Family has Audacity. Batman's up on his gargoyle. There is Nightwing down there, Catwoman in the crater. Robin is further forwards because he has undercover, so he can move up to 8 away from his deployment, although he chose to be there because of all the guns. And then the Lieutenant and Scarecrow are there on that side of the Batmobile. The Medic is tampering with the Batmobile. and Deathstroke and the Arkham Knight are together over there. So let's get battle round 1 started with technically a pass, so we're over to this side. So the humble militia medic got things started by throwing himself into the fray without audacity, but close enough to the Arkham Knight to have a free inspired manipulate. He went forwards, his 10 I think it is, and he placed down a suspect marker and also triggered free for all. So it's in play until the end of the round. Have more models than your opponent within 4 inches of the centre of the gaming area, which is approximately the dead centre of that crater right there. So it's in play. They have more miniatures, so it's feasible they can do that. And even if they can't, they'll force some of the Bat family out of cover. So that's the plan. So Tim Drake took the bait and activated next. However, first of all, as a resource for 2 resource points, Confusion was played. During a friendly model's activation, you can move another friendly model up to 3. So Dick got moved just so he's adjacent to the Surge rating. I think that was like 2 inches, it wasn't the full 3. So anyway, Tim came around the corner, still trying to use the upturned dumpster here as cover to at least provide cover, if nothing else, from the Arkham Knight sniping him. So he is obscured, as is right now for sure. Whether the shot's possible or not 100% sure. But he threw his batarangs, which are double stun. His don't have light on them, not that it matters, because that's if you're in close range, but he did much better than expected. He actually got through 2 hits for 2 stun each for 4 stun, so he actually knocked the medic unconscious, which was very unexpected, and even managed to score a single victory point for doing it. They won't see me coming. Inflict damage on an enemy who didn't have line of sight at the start of your activation. He was behind this building, so there we go. 1 point on the scoreboard for the Bat family. Deathstroke was next up, activating with Audacity. He did a move action, and then he did a manipulate to put down a suspect marker. It is outside of 4 of the 1 placed by the medic prior to his getting knocked out, and in doing so has triggered Black Ops for 2 victory points. A friendly model, is this in focus? Hopefully. A friendly model places a suspect within 8 inches of an enemy model that cannot draw line of sight to him or the suspect marker. Robin is right on the other side of that dumpster. He can't see either of them, so that has scored. Catwoman activated, and this is the old Gotham City Sirens Catwoman, and she is quick. 14 movement plus the extra 1 from Acrobat gives her 15 inches, so she can basically clear half the table in a move. So she did basically that. Not to use that word overly too many times, but she went right up to Deathstroke and into base to base with the suspect marker there, and she has revealed it, so it'll be gone in a second, so that a comb through everything can be scored by the Bat family crew. Reveal an enemy suspect marker. Additionally, when you do, draw an extra objective card and then discard 1. So 2 victory points. It has put her in the firing line from Arkham Knight up there, obviously, because you can definitely see her. Just hoping that her defense 5 plus being able to use dodge will see her through, but I guess we'll see. So the Arkham Knight readied his sniper rifle to go after Catwoman. For his special action, he used rapid fire, which basically countered Catwoman using dodge, using 1 effort to make 1 attack dice get lost. But rapid fire adds 1. He has aim and reload, so he couldn't move before or after shooting it, and he won't be able to shoot it next turn. But 2 hits got through for 3 blood each, and the 1 stun is from her using the dodge roll. That is 6 damage. This Catwoman only has 5 endurance, so she is gone, and in doing so, for just 1 victory point, she has caught a bullet. She certainly has indeed inflicted at least 6 damage. And that was exactly 6 damage, so that has scored for the Soldiers of Fortune. Back over to the Bat family, who are now just down to 3. So Batman activated, and he's pretty scared. He's probably a little miffed about what happened to Catwoman. Arkham Knight Batman is also Eternal, which either just means they don't want to upgrade his card to 3rd edition, or they consider him too powerful for 3rd edition. He is very powerful, but he is also very expensive. I feel like it kind of balances out. Either way, his special action was to use his Batclaw, which gave him a total of 14 movement, and as a result he shot straight down into the middle of the map, further making it less likely Free For All is going to cap this turn, given that he's currently the only one within the distance of the middle. He then threw his remote control batarangs, which are medium range rather than short range, at the Arkham Knight, so as you can probably tell, he did pretty well with it. 2 hits got through for a total of 4 stun, and he got a crit on the strength die. So it knocked him down, and knockdown does appear in the effects list of the compendium. So as a result, I'm Feeling Weird has scored for inflicting an effect on an enemy model for 2 victory points. The Militia Lieutenant activated with Audacity. He moved over here and played They Must Know Pain as a resource for 1 resource point. A friendly model can remove up to 2 damage markers, or, which is the part he did, the or part, choose a friendly model that's KO'd within 4 and they automatically recover. So the medic, he still had his turn, but he doesn't need to do a check at the end of the turn now. He is conscious. It was just to ward off any potential arrest or anything like that. So he is up, and now it is over to Nightwing to end the Bat family's first turn, and then back over to Scarecrow for Soldiers of Fortune. So Nightwing activated, and he made use of the fact he was now adjacent to a sewer grating, thanks to Robin playing a card as a resource, to use his tactical action to manipulate it in order to travel through the sewer. And as far as I can tell, you can still do special actions when you travel through sewers, it's just that you've used up your tactical action. So he did Electric Storm, which is you center the blast template over him, any model that's covered except him, 3+ strength die roll, and if it gets through, 2 stun. Now, couldn't get it in such a way that both these would be hit, and it's a little bit in question as to whether or not the height would make a difference, so just to make it simple, he did it from where you can see him now. It caught the Lieutenant and he took 2 stun. So Scarecrow activated with Audacity. He turned the corner into base to base with Nightwing. For his special action he tried to inspire fear, but Nightwing passed his willpower roll, so he's fine. So then he tried to stab him with his fear syringes. He exerted 2 effort, as did Nightwing, so that's why they have 2 stun damage. All in all, 1 hit got through, which would have also scared him, but scared only affects till the end of the round, and it is the end of the round, so no need to worry about it. But it would have made him -1 to attack and defense, and also made it so he couldn't use dodge, which would be quite bad if the Arkham Knight could fire his gun next turn, which he can't. So anyway, we're at the end of the round. Free for All has not scored because the Bat family has more in the middle, so that's just discarded. But we'll be back with the cleanup to see if there's any Phase 4 cards being played. So at the end of Battle Round 1, everyone who has at least some stun damage on them and is conscious, which is everyone because the medic came back up, has healed 1 stun. And the only casualty is Catwoman, who's obviously gone. This might end up one way or another being a very quick one because of how few miniatures are on the field. No cards being played, I think I just said that, but no objective cards being played in Phase 4. And that about covers everything, so we are jumping into Battle Round 2, and it is the Bat family who is getting first activation. So to get Battle Round 2 started, there is 1 objective card being played in Phase 1/Phase 2. The Soldiers of Fortune are playing Die Hard, which we've seen plenty of times. It's a staple in most objective decks. Choose one of your models that isn't the boss. If they're alive at the end of the round, get 2 points. It is in play, and perhaps expectingly, Deathstroke is the target. Good luck removing him. So Nightwing got Battle Round 2 started, but first a correction. Arkham Knight has a Kevlar vest, so he should have taken 1 less damage from Batman's remote control batarangs. That had now been retroactively applied, so he healed 1 stun extra. So Nightwing, he did his Electric Storm, and it hit the Militia Lieutenant and Scarecrow and didn't get 3+, so they took no damage. So then he just acrobated his way on top of this to attack the knocked out at the time Arkham Knight, meaning he was -1 defense, so he was defense 3. All said and done, he got through 5 stun, so with the, he got through 6, down to 5, adding on the 3 down to 2 to correct for earlier, that is still enough to knock him out, and as a result he won't be getting a turn this battle round. And also, back to Arkham is scoring, make the opponent's boss KO or remove it as a casualty. So that is a big 3 points. The Arkham Knight wasn't going to do much this turn anyway because his gun is reloading, but that is still 1 less activation for them. The Mercenary Lieutenant was the first activate for Soldiers of Fortune with Audacity. He walked round here, he placed down a suspect marker which is outside of the 10 inches 8+2 of their deployment, and has scored another Black Ops because he has put down a suspect marker within 8 of an enemy model who can't draw line of sight to him or of a suspect marker. Nightwing is within 8, and it does say just a model. It doesn't matter that Batman can clearly see what he's doing. Nightwing can't, so this is scored. Robin activated and jumped out from behind the dumpster and sprinted down the street, not as far as he could go, but as far as he needed, to reveal the suspect marker that was placed behind the medic that was unconscious, scoring a second comb through everything. So draw 2 cards, discard 1 when you go back up to your 4, 2 victory points. It does put him in a bit of a precarious position. There's only the 1 gun in the enemy team, so it'll be close combat that's the kicker here, I think, although his bow staff with the shield from the games does actually give him protective, which is pretty handy for that. Anyway, so it's over to Scarecrow, the medic without Audacity, or Deathstroke. So Deathstroke activated, and first of all he used Hidden Sniper as a special action on Robin because he is within 12 of a board edge now. So that's just a rate of fire 1 firearm roll sniper that ignores cover, so it ignores his protective, although it does also give him +1 to his defense against not the strength die. All said and done, 1 hit got through, so it does double blood. He then did a move action and a tactical to attack him. They both exerted 2 effort, so they countered each other there. And Robin did really well with his defense, so only an additional hit got through for 2 more blood for a total of 4 of his 7. Yeah, 7 endurance. Either way though, Deathstroke has presumably scored Search and Destroy because he scored at least 2 hits. It's just that Robin's defense roll was really good. Need to be more clear whether that means successes or just like successful hits or hits that weren't blocked. Either way, it's being scored for 2 victory points. So Batman activated, he repositioned slightly next to the medic. It's a bit hard to position him there because they're sliding down the side of the crater, but he punched at the medic. He didn't do too well with his rolls honestly, but 2 stun got through from 1 punch, which was enough to re-knock out the medic. So he's not getting a turn, meaning that it is over to Scarecrow to end the turn, and that does also mean that Die Hard is definitely scoring because Slade is conscious. So it's becoming quite a brawl down here in the middle. Scarecrow just moved up to Robin, attacked him, tried to inspire fear first, and did not. He passed his willpower roll, and in combat just did the 1 blood, but did do it via a crit on the strength die, so Robin was knocked over. So as explained, Die Hard scored, but now we get to see if there's any phase 4 cards, and we'll do some knockout checks as well. So no phase 4 cards being played in the end of battle round 2, but everybody who was unconscious has woken up. So miraculously, didn't flip over this medic symbol, but he and the Arkham Knight are both woken up, so they're just knocked down on the floor. No objective cards being played as stated, so we'll just move into the next round and see if there's any phase 1 or phase 2. So at the start of battle round 3 proper, everyone except the medic has Audacity. Literally everyone else on the table has it, so that's easy to cover at least. There's 3 people knocked down, and it will be the Soldiers of Fortune taking first activation. There is 1 card being played. Bat Family is playing Die Hard. It can't be played on Batman. Robin's in a precarious position, so it's being played on Nightwing. So we'll see if he lasts the turn or not. And 2 victory points are up for grabs. The Arkham Knight got the turn started. He's an acrobat, so he just flips to his feet, and then for a special action he used Vanish. Now Vanish is a bit of an interesting rules interaction because it's whether or not it counts as him having moved for the purposes of using an aimed weapon. He does a free EMP grenade attack right on himself, although he isn't affected by it, and then if he is dropping it on himself against the light roll so he can use it in contact with an enemy model, he isn't affected by it, and he is placed, if he hasn't moved at all, within 4 of his current position, because if you've done the fight against him in Arkham Knight, that's what he does every time you catch him. So it's him teleporting away, you roll against people, so Nightwing took 1 stun from the EMP grenade going off in his face, and he moved down here, and it's a placement, it's not a movement, although it also specifies you can't use a back claw, you can't do a movement action after doing this, but it counts as a free attack, so you can still do another one. So presumably it's okay that he then shot his rifle downwind at Robin, who did use 1 effort to remove a die for dodging, but it wasn't enough. 1 hit got through for 3 blood, and that has removed Robin, to be seen again in the next Getting Stuff Painted video, because he is gone, and that also scored another dirty job. Sorry, not another dirty job, the other one, the one that killed Catwoman was a catch a bullet, right? Well, dirty job, 1 victory point, make an enemy model KO or a casualty, which he did. So hopefully that was right. The wording is obviously nebulous, as a lot of the rules for this game are. That's the way we're going to play it. It sounds like it's fine, but whether or not it actually is, who knows. There's now just the original dynamic duo left on the field for the Bat Family. So Batman activated, and totally forgot last round that this Batman has Master Fighter, so he should have been getting +1 to his rolls. Remembered this time though, so that would be why he did 8 stun damage to a knocked down medic and re-knocked him out. Mostly just to score They Must Know Pain for 1 quick victory point. He then did a movement action and moved his 8 inches round the corner to where you can see him on the street there. Deathstroke activated, and he is an acrobat, so he just hopped up onto the crate here, having more than enough movement required. He used Hidden Sniper as a special action to shoot Nightwing off the table. It did 2 damage. Then they both exerted maximum effort against each other, so 3 each, and all said and done, Deathstroke only got a strength die through, but it was a crit, so that is another 2 blood and a knockdown on Nightwing, although he is an acrobat too, so he can just flip to his feet when he gets his turn now. In total he's sitting on 5 blood damage, so he has 2 HP remaining. So Nightwing was another survivor for Bat Family. He activated, but first, totally forgot that during Slade's turn, he earned a Search and Destroy for using at least 2 efforts and scoring at least 2 successful hits. Well, it doesn't say successful, it just says an action where it performed at least 2 efforts, you score at least 2 hits. Again, does that mean that they didn't get blocked? Because, I mean, you're successfully hitting, even if a block blocks it. Who knows? Either way, we're counting it because the other one scored. This is scoring as well. For Nightwing's turn, he used his back claw because he did not use it last turn. He shot all the way over here. He put down a suspect marker, and it has become, very late in the game, the first snitch. So we know how that works. No one's going to get close enough to it because I don't think Scarecrow can cover enough distance, so it'll probably be an auto score. But it is in play alongside Die Hard. So it's over to Scarecrow or the lieutenant over there because the medic got re-knocked out. So we can cover both those turns. Scarecrow, he moved in, he exerted 2 effort, Batman exerted 1 effort. He tried to stick him with the syringe and did not get through his defense 5. During his turn though, Global Offensive is being played. Have more friendly models with veteran trait in play than there are enemy suspects. Just to be played. Now technically I believe the snitch, because the snitch still counts as a suspect marker, they've got 1. The current veterans on the field depends on whether or not unconscious models count. It says in play. Does a knocked out model count as in play? See, that's the problem. Because the lieutenant has veteran, the medic has veteran. I don't think Slade does. No. And neither does Jason. And neither does Scarecrow. So it does come down to whether an unconscious model counts as in play. We're going to say it does. Again, not 100% sure, honestly. Removed from the table would be anything other than in play, in my opinion. But we're not sure. So that's how it's being played here. It could be wrong. Who knows? It scores at the end of the round, but it is the end of the round, so it's just automatically scored. And on that subject, so does the snitch, and so does Die Hard, because Dick barely managed to live through the turn. So at the end of battle round 3 proper, there is no phase 4 objective cards being played for either side, so we're just going to jump straight into the final battle round. Everyone who is conscious has healed 1 stun. The medic did not wake up, so he is out for the game. And at the start of the final battle round, there is no phase 1 or phase 2 cards being played for either side, and it is Soldiers of Fortune that are going to get first activation against the dynamic duo. So Slade got the turn started. He hopped down, went behind the Batmobile so he had clear line of sight of Dick, used his special action for Hidden Sniper, and it got him for 2 blood, which was enough to remove him, making Batman the last man standing for the Bat Family and scoring another dirty job for a quick 1 victory point. So Batman activated his Batclaw for a special action, giving him 14 inches of movement, more than enough to get where he wanted to get, which was right here. He put down a suspect marker, and as you can see, it has become a snitch, so that's in play now. So although there is still the Arkham Knight, the Lieutenant, and Scarecrow still to act, it'll just be a case of whether or not they can do anything to score any of their cards in their hand, because they're not going to be able to see Batman where he is. If they pop out the sewer grating there, that's not within 4, so it's not going to stop the snitch being scored. So we'll just see if they can do anything, otherwise it is the end of the game. So we're just going to cover those quick 3 activations, but there was actually stuff they could do to score. So first of all, the Scarecrow activated and played a global offensive, which we just covered. It's having more veterans in play, and again the medic is still on the table, so it's 2 versus 1. Scores at the end of the game, but we're calling this end of the game, so it's scoring. The snitch is scoring for Batman, but also with Scarecrow moving over there and the Arkham Knight trying to follow, another free-for-all was scored, because there's only 1 person within 4 that's conscious of the center, so that is also a score because it scores at the end of the round. So with that, I'm very eager to see what the final score is. So that was a very healthy scoring round for both teams. Let's see the final scores. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think Soldiers of Fortune have it. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They did it by 1 card. So they got to 21. So the Soldiers of Fortune do win, although obviously there was a couple of dubious how did the rules interact with the scoring there, and if those hadn't scored, then the Bat Family would have taken it, but also the Bat Family is reduced to a single person, so it didn't look too good for them because of just how the way things went. Slade being able to spam Hidden Sniper once a turn for a special action, the Arkham Knight sniper being so good, even though he only gets to fire it twice. So yeah, that was an interesting one, a good showing for the Bat Family. Thematic, obviously both teams were not the normal 350 rep, this was just a fun thing to reference the video games that are so good. But we'll probably stay on this table setup next time, but have some different crews. Obviously still waiting to hear when the next releases from Knight are coming out. They've been snowed in and making all sorts of excuses about where the Coravell releases are, the Riddler releases for those who are waiting for that, the new Tim Drake Robin that we're getting that isn't based on the video game. Anyway, who knows when those are going to appear. Everything is up in the air right now. Thank you for watching though. Please do show your support and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And until next time, ta-ta for now.